Thank you very much, André, for this moderation and for inviting me to join to this discussion. So I will share my screen and try to be short. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah. So I am the senior advisor for the Rethinking Plastics Circular Economy Solution to Marine Litter. I will make a brief introduction to that project and try to move forward to the activities that we are implementing in Vietnam. So this project is a regional project funded by the European Union and the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, the BMZ. And the project is implemented by two agencies, GIZ and Expertise France. We are running this project for 2 years now and still have 1 more year. And we are implementing activities in Indonesia, China, Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam, and more secondarily activities in Singapore and Japan. I will skip this slide as we all know the growing global challenge, and especially in Southeast Asia. And we are trying to tackle each activities by an ecosystem of activities. I just want to mention as well that this project is a part of the global effort at the international scale, of course, and we follow and we rely on international convention, agreement, and partnerships, and also at the regional efforts, and of course from the EU main policies and initiative. And I will just mention the EU plastic strategy, the single-use plastic directive, and the new circular economy action plan that are inspiring us to develop some policy recommendation and also to provide some best practices in our project. Of course, the main topic is circular economy, is to move forward and to switch from linear economy from circular economy. We all know these graphs and these principles and concepts, but the challenge is how to do it. In some countries where emerging notion are difficult to be implemented from national perspective at the institutional level to local practices, and with the responsibility and the engagement, involvement of different stakeholders. Our project is focusing on different aspects as a collection, sorting and recycling, also use of secondary raw materials, and also retail and consumption. The objective of the project is to support the transition to sustainable consumption and production of plastics to reduce significantly marine litter through EU approach policies and business models. We have 6 areas of activities. The first one is to support the policy dialogues between EU and the partners countries. So in Vietnam, we work mainly with the Ministry of Natural Resource and Environment, who is our main partner, but also in plastic waste management, sustainable consumption and production of plastic, reducing litter from sea-based sources such as ships and fishing vessels, and awareness raising about sustainable consumption and impacts of littering. In Japan and Singapore, we have specific activity on green procurements for who are interested. In Vietnam, so we promote circular economy approaches, that's in a general concept. More specifically, we are working on extended producer responsibility. We are working also at different level on a reduction of single-use plastic in a food delivery and takeaway, and also at port level, but I will go a little bit more details in in the examples that I will introduce. The project provides advisory service through studies and recommendation paper to implement policies and to fit with the current policy framework in Vietnam. We are working also to promote stakeholders dialogue and to develop also cooperation and sharing knowledge through workshop dialogues with stakeholders. We also exchange innovation and knowledge from and with other countries as we are working at the regional level. So we are exchanging experience from Indonesia, Thailand, China, and Philippines. And we are also supporting awareness raising. At the regional level, 20 pilot projects are implemented by nonprofit organizations, and in Vietnam, we are implementing 4 pilot projects. The main activities that we are supporting in waste management and at the city level is related to the new EPR scheme that is under development in Vietnam. Hamis has mentioned this legal framework that is a very important step to structure with the legal framework, but also at the level of the business community and the consumers and the waste operators and recyclers, a new scheme that will be surely important policy instrument to reduce plastic leakage in the environment, but not only, and will support the circular economy from the main urban areas. So I will not go into the details, but I would like to emphasize that the Vietnamese government is working with a great efforts to have a consultation with all the stakeholders as a business association, business partner, recyclers, and also provinces and waste operators to implement this new legal framework in a more sustainable and more relevant approach. We are working mostly on the packaging aspect. I will skip that slide to see from the model that now Monrey is developing how we can move forward and understand and analyze the gaps that we have in Vietnam to be more successful once the EPR decree will be enforced at the beginning of 2022. We have developed an EPR policy brief for packaging waste in Vietnam 2 years ago to provide some general knowledge on what is EPR, how it is a key instrument, policy instrument to be implemented in these areas, and also to provide general knowledge for all the stakeholders to start to think how each stakeholders can be involved in the EPR scheme. So it was our first contribution. The second activities that we have developed is a study on the informal and formal sector in 6 cities in Vietnam. And we will publish by the end of this summer this report and this activity. I think based on the model that the Monrey is developing, we are quite clear about the role of the producers and their contribution to the different options as self-recycle through a PRO or through the Vietnam Environmental Fund. We are quite clear about the recycling facilities who will be able to recycle this product, but the connection between the fund or the PRO from the collection, sorting, and transport to the recycling facility is still very broad, and we need to support also this strategic step to improve the sorting and the traceability of the EPR scheme. That's why we have developed these activities to show the diversity of the stakeholders and the value chain in the different cities from Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, Nha Trang, Da Nang, and Buôn Ma Thuột, who have different social and geographical characteristics. And even they share some common characteristic, the hybrid system in the collection and sorting of the domestic waste and especially plastic waste provides some insights to see how we need to fill the gaps to have a relevant and efficient EPR scheme that integrates these current activities. One of the main findings is, of course, the diversity of the city, of the different cities in their model of current waste organization. The second one is the fact that beside the vulnerability of the informal collectors are very diverse stakeholder, and each stakeholder has different status in terms of formal activities, and to be integrated into the EPR scheme is still very challenging, and we will develop a more concise study in a pilot project to really test and to engage stakeholders first for recognition of these informal collectors and aggregator as a part of the circular economy system, as they are contributing to the collection, and also to improve their skills to engage them in a more in a more professional way to collect, to sort, and the main objective is to improve the traceability. So this is our key findings in these reports. The other activities that we have developed is the translation of the EPR toolbox for Vietnam. This EPR toolbox has been developed by the Prevent Alliance with a lot of experience and best practices from all over the world. And this is organized in 3 modules: general aspect of EPR scheme for packaging waste collection and sorting, and packaging waste recycling. We have translated this EPR toolbox into Vietnamese to be shared with all the stakeholders will be involved in the EPR, the future EPR scheme. And now we are so we have these different activities. You can find this EPR toolbox in English and in Vietnamese in our website. And the next step will be to develop capacity building for different stakeholders. And shortly we will organize training for trainers. So I invite all of you to send me an email if you are interested to be part of this process, because if the EPR seems to be more and more known at the national level and with a key consultant and expert, to be successful, we'll need to implement it at the city levels. So the idea is to work and to develop some training for trainers in Hanoi, Da Nang, and Ho Chi Minh City, to form and to train future trainers that can be great support to develop some training at the local level, and for the cities who will be really impacted by the EPR, and also for business association, as we know the great role that the industry groups will play. So we are also developing, but maybe we can discuss about that. We are now launching 2 activities. activities. One is to develop a handbook for recyclers to improve and to understand their gaps and priorities for future investments. And we are also developing a pre-feasibility study on ecolabel to leverage the needs of developing standards and ecolabel and to promote a market for recyclable plastics. I will briefly introduce you the 4 pilot projects, and I will highlight 2 of them as they are working in Ho Chi Minh City. So the project is enhancing plastic packaging collection, sorting, and recycling, and is developed by IRD and the Hanoi University of Architecture to increase the collection, the sorting, and recycling of plastic packaging and reduce its environmental leakage. We are working at 2 at district level. One is urban district and one is a rural district, to analyze, to understand the mapping of the stakeholders, to understand the gaps, and to prepare the future introduction of the EPR decree. So the idea is really to develop, to understand the different stakeholders, how they work, especially to make an assessment on the indicators that that show today that on the value chain, the understanding and the way to categorize the plastic are not the same from the collectors to the recyclers. So we are doing an assessment of all this categorization of plastic to be more formalized in the future process of EPR, and developing also, of course, the best practices through improvement of sorting at source. So the team has been developing different activities. One of the activities is to compare the current empirical collection of plastic waste from the collectors and the aggregators, and to check with the scanner the quality of the current sorting that is done, to understand the gaps and to improve the procedure to collect plastics. The second one is they have developed an application to really memorize and to store all the data that will be collected. They will implement some surveys at the different source collection and compare all this data to improve the understanding, and to feedback to the MONRE and to the legal affairs departments to really figure out how we can improve all this process. So different activities hopefully will start after this difficult period of COVID, and we will invite you to join as a key stakeholders. Mrs. Ling from ENDA will be part of the project also to work more specifically on this improvement and integration or formalization of the different key collects from the informal to the independent one. The second pilot project that I wanted to introduce to you is a Plastic Alliance project. This pilot project is implemented by ASPONRE in Hanoi in collaboration with the Department of Industry and Trade, and there is our component 3 on sustainable consumption and production. This, as you know, and as Mrs. Howe also has mentioned, single-use plastics and especially plastic bags are key and very problematic topics all over the world, not only in Vietnam, but especially in Vietnam. And all the waste audit and categorization that has been done at the coastal area shows that the plastic bags are a main items that are in the environmental leakage and as a marine litter. So the idea is to establish a voluntary alliance of supermarkets who are also engaged in this reduction of the single-use plastic and especially carrier bags. We all know that in Vietnam, for the moment, there is no banning of single-use plastic bags. So the idea is to test and to demonstrate that as other countries, this is possible to reduce and to engage the retailers and the consumer to change their practice and their habits. So today we have 13 supermarkets and retailers that have registered to this alliance. We are waiting for the signature of the signing ceremony of the MOU, and we will campaign customer be more aware about the impacts of these plastic bags and to be able to reduce their consumptions. So we have a fan page on Facebook, and I invite you to check on the Plastic Alliance project to be part of this initiative. And we will invite you also to join with your possibility and capacity to develop this campaign to change the behavior of the consumers. This is a two main pilot project. We have two other ones, but I will not detail them. One is on the ship waste management in Vietnamese port, and we are working with Vina Marine and the Ministry of Transportation in Cat Lai. So if you are interested by that, I can also provide more information. And just to also mention that in the region we have 20 pilot projects, and we hope that the final result can be shared and to be also inspiration as a best practice for all at the regional level. Thank you very much for your attention, listening, and happy to discuss with you. And once again,